Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all the teachers, educators, facilitators, and everybody in this space, storytellers. Once again, a warm welcome for taking time on a weekend and making your presence here for this webinar. This topic, storytelling as a pedagogy, is one of the most, uh, you know, chosen topic, or you get to see this topic doing rounds in almost all the textbooks now. So what exactly is storytelling and what is a pedagogy? So let us try to understand these two terms before we get into understanding how to use this. So are we all ready to dive into a story session, a storytelling session? Dear participants, I
Yes,
request
ma'am.
you to, yes, thank you, thank you. Well, there are terms like curriculum, pedagogy, and these two terms, most of the time we use it, we interchange and use it. Pedagogy is a method, pedagogy is a tool, pedagogy is a style, and curriculum is a framework. Curriculum is, if we have to achieve certain outcomes and certain desirable changes, desirable attitudinal changes in children, we use a tool. So storytelling is a tool that all of us, all educators, irrespective of any level, that we can use this tool. Many colleges and, even in the degree level, research level, storytelling is preferred. So I'm sure all of you have been storytellers. This is nothing new. But maybe, there are little techniques and tricks that we can share and learn from each other. So this platform today, we are not, I'm not the host and, you're not the participants. We are all co-learners. So let us start the session and learn from each other. Thank you once again. I would like to share a small story. Now, the pictures that you're seeing on the screen, can you relate to this picture? Is there something that comes to your mind when you look at this picture? Yes? Any idea what the picture is speaking about?
One child is having a blank, matlab, empty pot,
Yes?
and he's sad. And
Uh-huh.
when other children they saw that he's sad, so everybody is offering him one
Uh-huh.
plant so
Uh-huh.
that his pot is also full.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. So this is a very, very interesting folk tale. So the story goes like this. Long ago in China, there lived a kind and honest little boy named Ping. So the boy's name is Ping, who loved to grow plants. And everything he planted would bloom beautifully. Whatever, a little seed, some, even if he would not take any, good care of it, just pours little water, he had green fingers and, the plant would just bloom beautifully. So the emperor of the land was getting old and he needed to choose a successor. And because he loved flowers just as much as his people did, he decided to use them to find his successor. So he gathered all the children of the kingdom and gave each one of them a special flower seed. What did he give?
A special flower
Flower
seed.
seed. So the emperor promised that whoever could grow the most beautiful and magnificent flower in 1 year would be chosen to rule. So Ping was thrilled because he already had green fingers and he was known to grow, flowering pots, and he had several pots in his garden. So Ping was thrilled and he took the seed home. He filled a flower pot with rich soil, carefully planted the seed, and watered it every single day. But as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, nothing sprouted. Pink tried moving the seed to a larger pot and using different, richer soil, but it still refused to grow. By the end of the year, all other children were proudly boasting about the massive, colorful plants they had grown, while Pink's pot remained completely empty. Now, the day of the judgment came. The day came when children had to present their flowers to the emperor at the palace. So Ping was deeply ashamed and he didn't want to show up with an empty pot. But his parents encouraged him to be brave and tell the truth about his best efforts. At the palace, now what happens? Emperor, he walks down the line and observing, he's walking down and he's observing the incredibly beautiful and strong plants. However, as he was walking down, he looked at the flowers. His face actually grew disappointed. King did not say a single word. Finally, he reached Ping, who stood shivering and holding his empty pot, expecting to be punished. Now, Emperor asked, "Why did you bring me an empty pot, Ping?" With tears in his eyes, Ping explained that despite watering it, changing the soil, and caring for it every day, the seed simply never grew. So he brought an empty pot as the best he could do. And now all of the boys who were there were laughing at him. But hearing Ping's words, a warm smile spread across the emperor's face. He raised his arm and announced to everyone, "I do not know where all these other boys got their seeds, but the seeds I passed out had all been cooked. As everyone knows, nothing can grow from a cooked seed. That is why Ping's pot is empty." Now, the emperor proudly declared that Ping was the only child brave and honest enough to return with the truth. Because of his unwavering integrity, Ping was chosen to be the next emperor of China. So, this is a very famous folk tale of China, and this story is used in different ways to bring honesty, value, integrity, to teach germination, to teach about plant. Several aspects are taught through the story. How was the story?
Ma'am, it was really wonderful.
Yes. How many of you are thinking in your mind that you will go and implement this story or you will narrate the story? I'm
Yes,
sure,
ma'am.
yes.
Definitely we will not.
Yeah. So you can Google and you will find the story. See, this is the power of story and using storytelling as a tool, using storytelling as a pedagogy. I'm sure that many of you would have heard or read about why storytelling should be used. Now, in today's session, we are going to understand what happens when you use storytelling. So I'm sure most of you are now geared up to read stories or to listen to stories or narrate to stories. All three will bring in lot of changes and lot of, it makes a shift. It will shift in the attitude. It shifts the attitude of the classroom. So shall we move on? Thank
Yes,
you.
please.
Thank you. So transforming learning through narrative. So how do we transform the learning? Learning happens. You know, storytelling is not a new method. All knowledge which has been transferred, or whatever we have learned is only through storytelling. We never had, if you go back to traditional system, go back to Gurukula system, it has been, passing of information from one generation to other, from guru to his shishya, has been through storytelling. Today, we have come up with this pedagogy, we have come up with this tool in a little systematic way, so that we understand the approach, understand the tricks, and then use it appropriately. Use the tool appropriately. So, storytelling has the power to unlock. It has the power to unlock several characteristics in a classroom. Why does it work then? Many a times, each one of you sitting here, I'm sure, if you're whether a new teacher or a seasoned teacher or a teacher, an experienced teacher, you have used story. You have used stories when there were conflicts in the class. You have used stories when you had to convey some message. You have used stories to convey an idea. Every time you have used a story, it has worked. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any time children have told,
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am, story is boring? Have children told stories are boring?
No.
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 So it works. Now, why does it work? What makes story work? So there is a brain science. There's, of course, a lot of research that is happening, and we all know it. Whether we read the research or research is done or not, we have proved, and we have seen that storytelling works in the class. Then what is this session going to help us? We know we are telling stories, we know stories are going to bring changes. Then what is the takeaway from this session? So as we proceed through the session, we shall understand what is important and how is that you can transform your class. The research says, here in this picture you can see, this is a picture where you can see some spots on the brain picture on the left side and also on the right picture here. So, according to the research, stories activates 7 areas of brain versus facts that activate only 2 areas. Now, when you present facts, when you just read some numbers and what happens, children will either listen. There is some data, no, there are different kind of children in a class. Now, when only the facts are given, or when the lesson is just read, or when we go on explaining what happens, children either just listen, that is, language comprehension definitely improves, and they process the language. These are the two activations that happens when children are listening, only listening to a data. Whereas when they listen to a story, there is a happy hormone. A happy hormone releases oxytocin, which increases empathy, and this hormone helps in memory retention. So you can see here on the left side, movement, sounds, language comprehension, colors and shape. When I was talking to you about the empty pot, many of you could visualize the flowers. You could visualize the king walking in. You could visualize Ping in, hanging his face down because his seeds didn't sprout. So colors and shapes we visualize. Language processing and language comprehension, of course, it takes place because the narrator brings in brings in voice modulation. The narrator uses a low pitch and a high pitch based on the sequence of the story. So brain science, or the research behind storytelling, proves that several areas of brain activates when children listen to stories. Now, what kind of stories? We shall also look into it. And this also brings in some kind of inclusivity in the classroom. When you're telling stories, you might have noticed See, this is a picture where I did a storytelling using, again, a Japanese method known as kamishibai. Now, I used this technique to teach certain concepts in a government school. This is Parikrama Center for Learning. There are four centers in Bangalore. So here, there were children from different age groups. You can see in the last row here, in the last row, children were, kneeling down. Some of them, nobody is seeing here and there. Everybody, the story session was for almost half an hour. 40 minutes the story session was conducted. Not a single child moved, not a single child, looked here and there. They were just engrossed into the storytelling. And all these children come from different backgrounds. So when we use stories and when we map the stories to the curriculum, when story, any story you can map, you can bring that value and connect to the curriculum. You can modify a little here and there, and then you can map it to your curriculum. So when we are using stories, no child in the class feels bored because it helps all kinds of learners. It helps every child in the class. And we have children with special needs, we have slow learners, advanced learners, they all connect. And it also breaks the language barrier because suppose if you're using a regional language, there's a teacher who starts explaining in a different, let's say in a regional language in an English medium school where this regional language is not taught. But children will understand through the emotions, through the actions. They may not know verbatim word to word, but the emotions behind the story is understood. So, storytelling brings inclusivity. You can use this as an excellent tool to bring all children together. So the impact of storytelling in the last, almost I think 1.5, 2 decades is so, it has really made an impact that the Department of Education has made storytelling compulsory, not just confined to the primary learners. Storytelling should be used across all levels in the education system. So this is come from the department that we have to embed use stories for various, we can use stories at different levels. Because it is the impact of storytelling is so good, the memory retention, the recapitulation, or when students, they are able to reproduce and recall the facts very well compared to just the lecture or chalk and talk method. So how is it benefiting two people in a class room? That is one, the learner, the second one, the teacher. So let us first take from the aspect of a learner. What happens to a learner when we use this tool, a storytelling as a tool, when we map it with the curriculum? There is a caution with this tool. The tool is very easy, available for everyone, anybody can access, but it should be mapped and it should be used appropriately. So when we use it appropriately in the classroom, first and foremost change that we can see, we can witness is the attention. Research says 22 times more memorable than the facts. Comprehension. Children are able to comprehend. That is, a complex concepts can be made into simple through narratives. I have an example. We will take it up as we proceed with the session. Values. In the story, The Empty Pot, we can bring in the values. So as a learner, we don't have to tell all this, that your attention will improve, you will develop your comprehension skill, ability, values. As you narrate the story, and after the narration of the story, if there is a questionnaire or you just observe children, you will find at least three or four of these which are listed on the screen. Children will be able to comprehend. And then values, as we discussed, then the language, because children are able to identify new words, new terms used in the story. They'll go back and try to find the meaning, or they might ask the teacher. So, listening also improves. The last one is cherry on the cake, imagination. Vivid imagination. Children start, you know, there was a teacher I noticed after she would narrate a story, she would ask children to draw what they heard. And this imagination, it would bring out uh, pictorial representations, visual representations of the story that was narrated. So, all these five: attention, comprehension, developing values, language improvement, and imagination. All these are the takeaways from the point of the student. Then what happens to the teacher? I'm narrating a story. So the listener is taking away five attitudinal change, five behavioral change. What kind of shift does a teacher undergo? For the teacher, it's very easy to manage the class. Within 2 minutes, the story begins, the classroom becomes calm. And it's one of the low cost teaching learning material. You don't have to use, you need to use your voice, you need to have a learning outcome and map it with the lesson. So that just comes with a little planning. You don't need any teaching learning material. Of course, voice and your expression. That's important, and all teachers have it. Without voice and expression, we just can't survive in a classroom. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Yes.
So then your assessment also would become very easy. As per the competency based assessment, we always say that the answers, or, when we frame questions, they have to be higher order. So after the narration of story, children will be able to recall and explain, their critical thinking ability improves. So your assessment also becomes easy. Because now with the multiple assessment system, we can use one technique as storytelling, and after storytelling, there would be a question answer session. So we can also check the understanding of the concept. And this is universal. This can be applied for all subjects. Math story sums can be done, EVS community stories can be weaved, then science cause and effect stories can be done. We will take one example as we proceed. So there are, some more points that are listed here. Introduce new vocabulary, improves learning skills, enhances listening, introduces a culture. Now, when we heard, when I was narrating the Chinese folk tale, I introduced a culture through the story. So children will go back and read something more about the Chinese folk tale stories. And then there would be innovation and skill, expansion of knowledge, innovation and skill which will be expanded, encourages emotional development. And then there are a lot of bedtime stories which will reduce, the TV and smartphone time. It also relaxes mind. So what more should we ask? So storytelling is like a genie. It's like a magic wand. It brings a complete shift in the student perspective and also from the teacher's point of view. See, whatever data was presented is just not captured from somewhere. There is a research, there is a peer-reviewed publication that we can read to understand more about how storytelling holds memory and helps in building memory. University of Mississippi has done a lot of work. And it claims, it says, it declares that 70% of the information can be retained, it can be utilized through storytelling compared to only 10% through lectures and chalk and talk method. So, retention after 3 days of listening to a story. Because when we listen to a story, what happens is we start thinking about that story, or children may talk about it. They will start, if there is an assignment with the story, they will start doing after a day. So when they depict story through visual representations, or if there is a questionnaire based on the story, there is a work that is carried after the storytelling. Of course, it happens with any topic when we teach. But with a story, you will come up with an assignment, probably a very different kind of assignment. So even after 3 days, there were, a small group of students who were given this storytelling task, and there was another group, where these children were just given some kind of explanation. So after 3 days, it was found, from a random group that more than 65% of the facts, were children were able to recall and present in the class. So when we have so much benefit from a simple tool where we just have to use voice and expression, I'm sure that this is definitely going to bring a big shift in our classrooms. So, if you want children to remember, don't tell them the truth. Tell them a story and put the truth in the story. Yes? Now, when I say this, are you ready to listen to another story?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because this story is actually the truth which is wrapped in a sequence of activities. So let's dive into a story which is mapped with the curriculum. I'm sure teachers who are sitting here and listening to this story will be able to connect, will be able to relate, and you will definitely use this story when you get back to classrooms. Well, what is this picture?
It's all about a grandma and the grandson. They were
Yes,
doing some
yes,
activities.
very good. So this is about a grandmother. And what else do you see in the background and the picture, and how different is the grandmother?
Yes, the grandma is wearing a lot of tools that could be seen around the waist over there, and so
Yes.
many plants. I think something the grandma is trying to teach the little child,
Mm-hmm.
um, means how to take care of the plants, maybe how to
Watering
trim off
them.
them,
Excellent,
watering the
excellent.
plant.
And it's
Maybe the
also, ma'am, the
grandma.
reuse of water also. The reuse of water is also being taught to the child.
Yes, yes. Okay.
And maybe how to use the resource without wasting. Instead of buying a new pipe or something else, how we can make use of the things that we are having in our homes.
Available.
Maybe
See,
she's
just
trying.
one picture has triggered a lot of imagination, which is logical. It has so much logic. And imagine, with that age group, children will, see much more. They will see beyond what we are seeing. They will identify a lot of things, seeing this picture, of course. So this is a story that I have selected from Pratham Story Weaver, which is one of the most widely used stories. I shall share the details about this source from where I have selected the story. And this story is Amachi's Amazing Machines. Title of the story is Amachi's Amazing Machines. So here, this is Amachi. So Amachi comes from a term, this is used in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu. This is grandmother. So Amachi is here, and this Amachi is a very different Amachi. So here
Maternal grandmother, right,
there's
ma'am?
no gender bias, right? Generally, we see men with a lot of tools, but here we have our Amachi with all tools, tied to her hip with a belt. And she is asking her grandson to wash hands after doing a little gardening and a little de-weeding activity in the garden. So what does grandmother do now? What's going to happen next? Any guess? Any guess what would be the next scene?
She might take him along to pluck the vegetables which has been grown earlier. One of them actually.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so let us see what both of them are up to and what is that they are going to do by end of this story. Now, grandson is asking grandmother, Amachi, Amachi, could we make coconut burfi today? Suraj is asking grandmother, please, Amachi, I want to eat coconut burfi. Grandmother is busy. And Amachi says, yes, we can have burfi, but provided you help me. Only if you help me, I will make the burfis for you. So the boy is excited. Suraj is excited now. But now they have to make preparations. In the third picture here, Amachi is all set with her gear on her head. She's sitting with an handmade, seater. There is a pulley there. And then the boy, Suraj, is shouting, ready. Amachi says, I'm ready. Now, Amachi goes up. She climbs the tree easily using her own machine. And there, for making burfi, what do we need? We need
Coconut.
we need coconut. So here they have to pluck a coconut. So to pluck coconut, she reaches the tree using that pulley and the rope with her grandson Suraj's help. Now once she reaches the tree there, she's just not dropping the coconut down from there. She has again used a cloth there for the coconuts to slide. And then it comes and gets collected in a big basket here. Are the pictures interesting? Yes? So
Yes,
here
ma'am.
you can see the
Yes,
boy
ma'am.
is carefully observing as the coconuts slide and get collected in this huge basket. Next, we can guess. Once they have plugged, now they have to peel it. They have to peel the coconut. So here Amachi has again a tool for it. And to remove the husk, she asks Suraj to operate the tool, to operate the handmade tool here. And Amachi removes the husk from the dry coconut. Once this is removed, Suraj says, oh, Amachi, I'm tired. Amachi is, just adjusting her glasses and she gives a smile. She says, hey, Suraj, we still have a long way to go. The coconut is just still in my hand and you need burfis. So there are some more steps. Next, here in this picture, you can see Amachi. She's using again another tool to crack the shell. Khatak. The sound, and you can see the eyeballs. Suraj, has just opened his eye, his eyeballs are just popping up. And then he's collecting water. I'm sure he would have consumed it. And once the coconut is cracked into two pieces, Amachi instructs him to grate it. So again, for grating, there is a tool. So they grate the coconut. You can see Suraj here grating the coconut using again a handheld machine. After grating, he is looking at the produce. He's just looking at, wow, the coconut has just turned into juicy gratings. And on the other side, Amachi is making some preparations. She's taking something, keeping something ready so that this coconut grating will be used there. So what next? So here she is pouring the grated coconut into the sugar syrup. In the previous picture here, you can see she was busy making the sugar syrup. So she just tosses it into the pan with other ingredients. And here, we can see Suraj is already tasting it. Mentally, he has already tasted the barfi. He's so excited and he's very happy about it. So grandma is now mixing it thoroughly, and Suraj is just waiting to taste them. So grandma puts them into a mold in a tray and allows it to cool for some time. And after cooling, you can see here, she cuts into neat little slices. And once these slices are ready, Suraj himself packs into a airtight container because he's saving them. He's saving them so that he can eat them later. He puts everything into an airtight container and takes one bite. That is, the barfi that his grandmother offers now, and you can see the face here, see his expression, see the happiness. The happiness through all the steps that both of them went through to prepare this barfi. It would have been very easy for the grandmother to just hand him, a few coins and tell him, okay, go to this corner shop, buy some barfis and eat it for yourself. But the grandmother made sure she would teach Suraj the technique, the usage of tools, and the science behind it. Isn't it interesting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what concepts can be connected?
Yes.
What did actually grandmother teach, and which lesson can we map this to?
Ma'am, the thing is that everything, see, in this, there are many lessons, ma'am. But for it, most important is like he will learn not to waste the food or food items, like, and because it has not been easy, he has gone through all the difficulties for
Mm-hmm.
from getting the coconut, and the
Absolutely, absolutely, Deepa.
entire process of preparation,
Yes,
and the difficulties that his grandmother or he has been going through.
yes. So he values it. He will
Yeah, he'll
definitely
have value
value.
of it.
Yes, he'll
Yeah.
So
value
in
the
future it
process.
will, yes, no,
Yes,
not for this only, but in future other things also he'll value it. He'll have
absolutely,
value for
absolutely.
hard work.
And yeah, hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, I can tell in the different subjects like science concept, states of matter,
Mm-hmm.
caramelization, tool and
Mm-hmm.
simple machines,
Mm-hmm.
and preservation also. And if we
Amazing.
talk about maths concept, we can talk about measurement, then how to
Yes.
cut the burfi, and
Mm.
division is very
Yes.
important. Counting, after that, the child can count the burfi. And the life skills and the values, which is very
Okay.
important, like patience, that we should be patient while doing anything, and the hard work we can talk about, teamwork we can talk about,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we can talk about wastage also, that we
Yes.
should not waste anything. Everything is important. A small piece of burfi is also important.
So, see, this story alone will serve purpose to many. Someone is. Yes, yes. Ma'am, please repeat. Please repeat.
Ma'am, it's work hard and at the end you can write the sweet. Like when you work hard, you can
Yeah.
get the result as a
Results are
sweet.
sweet. Results are sweet. Absolutely, absolutely. So the lessons here, whatever was shared, they're all definitely there in the learning. Here, this the story is curated, the story is written, and the story has gone through a lot of sessions where there were the story is actually mapped with the curriculum, and as you mentioned, it is mapped with simple machines. So grandmother actually taught Suraj one chapter on simple machines. In fact, I tried the story, sometime back in a class where they had simple machines as a chapter, and I just narrated the story, and then I asked them to go through the story, go through the lesson. Children were able to answer so quickly. I think in just one session, one class, we were able to understand the whole idea of that chapter, simple machines. So the first, that when grandmother had to slide the coconuts, she used inclined plane. Yes? What did she tie? She tied a cloth from the coconut tree to the basket. So she used inclined plane. And then she used the lever system also, in all the machineries wherever. Wheel and axle was used. Wedge was used as when she had to crack the coconut. Of course, the pulley was used, for grandmother to go up, to the tree to pluck the coconuts. All these tools, the simple machines, were part of the story. They were part of the story. And as we discussed here, it is not just the science. We can bring in life skills here. We can bring gender sensitivity here. We can talk about, we can go back to their homes and say that, what does your grandmother teach you? Or, do you visit your native place? What is that you do in your native place during vacations? How do you learn simple life skills through activities? So this itself can be a project. Children will start narrating a lot of examples which can again be connected to the lesson or the concept. Here, even a slow learner, somebody, a child who never opens up, never discusses in the class, also will come up with several suggestions, or, he will start narrating his experience. And this is the real learning. This is the real learning. Yes? Do we agree?
Yes, ma'am. And
Yeah.
Yes,
importance
ma'am.
of
100%.
grandparents also, ma'am.
Yes?
You know, importance of grandparents also, because nowadays
Exactly.
there is
Exactly.
family values also.
Amazing. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the story is not
Ma'am,
just
working
written.
together.
Yes, working together,
Ma'am,
teamwork.
walking together and teaching the child step by step the method. This is also can be
Absolutely.
applicable. In
Yes.
school
Yes.
also
The
we can do that.
connection, the
Yes,
generation,
yes.
the connection, that also can be highlighted here. So the story just, it is not just coming on a platform like this, but because the story is a part of 6 reading lists. Whatever we discussed now, we're putting it a little, putting it in terms of education. We can, when as teachers, we have to bring in myself and other advanced readers. It's a category of where children read from level 1 to level 2, level 3. So in one of these levels, advanced readers, we can bring in the story. We can introduce, today we are talking about Kaushal Bodh and Kaushal Vikas, skill education we are talking in CBSE. The story will definitely serve the purpose. Technology and engineering stories for advanced readers. Children will be able to relate to different kind of technology. You will see them, come up with several such tools. They will start designing, they will start thinking about making simple tools without the use of, electric current. And then they will explore basic science. You can explore basic science with beginner readers. Then challenging gender-based division of roles. So the story serves all these purpose. And everyday inventors for middle readers. The reader, you have level 1, level 2 readers. So for them, it would be everyday inventors. And then inspiring stories for beginner readers. Now, this is a story that can bring about, just one simple technique, one simple story. If it can do, it can touch so many areas. Imagine, this, especially Pratham Story Weaver has a lot of stories. Each story can be mapped with your lesson. If you read the story, you yourself, as you're using your creativity, you will map the story with the curriculum or with the lesson that you're going to teach, or it can just be a value addition. Not necessary, teachers, that every time a story should be bringing about, it should be matching with your lesson. It can just be a takeaway. It can just, break the boredom of learning. So are you all thrilled to use stories? Are
Yes,
you all
ma'am, we
thrilled
do
to?
use.
Yes. There was another story that I had just uh, saved the story for another session. Would you like to listen to another story?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
definitely.
ma'am.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes. Meanwhile, maybe if there is someone in the group, if you want to narrate a story, we can start about, we can listen to you. Some story that you used recently in your class? Yes? Is anybody interested in, anybody wants to share some story that made a change in your class, or, brought some kind of, unexpected change? Yes? Okay. You can unmute and share the story. Okay? Well, there's another story. The Red Raincoat. The Red Raincoat is a very popular story, again from Pratham Story Weaver. This boy, his father brings him a raincoat, and it's a red raincoat. He is so excited about the raincoat that he unpacks it and then wants to use the raincoat and keeps the raincoat ready. Monday. He looks at the sun, he looks outside, the sun is bright. And he asks his mother, Mom, is it going to rain today? Mother says, then the clouds are, slightly gray. Maybe it might rain in the afternoon. So the boy is very excited to wear his raincoat. So to wear the raincoat, he wants the rain. But by evening, the clouds move away and then the sky becomes very clear. It doesn't rain on Monday. Tuesday, he packs the raincoat, puts it in his bag, and leaves to school, assuming that while he is returning on Tuesday, it might rain. As he's walking towards home, he looks at the sky, he looks at the clouds, and the sky is again clear. And then he comes home and complains to mom, saying that, Mom, why is it not raining? Last week it was raining every day. I was not able to play. But now I want to wear my red raincoat and go out in the rain and play in the rainwater. Today, Tuesday, it hasn't rained. And then mom says, no, it's definitely, the weather forecast says that the rains are ahead. Again on Wednesday, he wears the raincoat at home in the morning once, tries it, removes the raincoat, puts it in the bag, and walks. to the school. That day, there were slight showers, but when there were slight showers, he was in the class. He was not able to come out and use his raincoat. He returns home with a sad face. He says, Mom, today it rained, but my teacher did not allow me to come out in the rain. She said, No, you will fall sick. So I had to go back, and I could not, wear my raincoat today. Thursday, Friday also just goes in the same way. He expects that it's going to rain, but it doesn't rain. Saturday, he gets very upset. He just keeps the raincoat at home and then he goes out to play with his friends. After he plays, he's just returning, he's just entering his compound, and then there is this thunder and the storm. It starts pouring. Before it begins, before it becomes too, heavy, Raju just runs out and starts enjoying the splash. He gets wet and then he realizes that it's going to be heavy and he walks inside. And then he remembers that he did not use his raincoat. So the red raincoat is just hanging there in his house. Through this story, we can teach children days of the week, what comes after, what comes before. We can teach about climate. We can teach about the weather. We can teach about the clouds, the rain. So there are these concepts that are associated with story, that is the raincoat. Did you enjoy the story?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And ma'am, once you're happy, things doesn't matter, ma'am. That also is like, when he was happy, he forgot about the raincoat and all.
Yes, yes.
So
But
that
still,
is
the
also,
entire week he was holding his
yeah.
raincoat
So
and
he was patience.
yes, he wanted to use his raincoat for the entire week. But then when it rained, he just, went out and played. So this was the storytelling pedagogy, using stories as a tool to bring about behavioral change, to bring a shift in the learning. So if there are any stories or there are any questions, there are a lot of stories available, teachers. We have to read them once and narrate, or just practice the story once or twice and then uh, just go to the class and try it. I'm sure that all of us, would love to use this method. Thank you for being here, and I'm sure uh, you will use stories from Pratham Story Weaver and many other. There are many platforms, where you will get wonderful stories. Thank you, everyone.
Ma'am, excuse me,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, is there any storytelling method regarding teaching English grammar?
absolutely. If you have to start with, say, parts of speech, just to start with parts of speech, you can introduce one line which has all 8 parts of speech. And then introduce through that one simple line. And later, take only the noun. Let us say, if you have to start, this is a simple, very simple technique. You have to introduce noun. You can just start with these children saying, call one particular child, keep calling his name several times. Say, for example, Aditya, come here. Aditya, take this book. Aditya, sit here. Aditya, go there. Aditya, can you read this? Aditya, can we start writing this? Aditya. Then somebody in the class will say, Ma'am, why are you telling his name so many times? And then you can say, call him. He is here. He will write. So now children are able to differentiate between noun and pronoun. So you can bring it into a story. Weave the same sequence, into a story. And as you narrate the story, children will be able to relate to different parts of the speech. But after only, to a certain level, we can bring in this. We can definitely design and, make simple stories and then build on it. I hope I answered your question and I gave you a simple example.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ma'am. Thank you. It's very thankful.
Yeah. Yes, Deepa ma'am?
Ma'am, what I used to do is really for teaching noun, we used to take
Mm-hmm.
the books, the things which are in your bag, just keep it on the
Mm-hmm.
table, and now
Mm-hmm.
see common noun, proper noun, so in this way, boy or a girl, teacher,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of like activity we
Yes,
used to do.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It just needs, as a team, if you collaborate and brainstorm, you will come up. We can make stories. We can design stories and then bring in. What is that you want to? Which element do you want to add? What is that you want to see at the end of the class? So that if you have an objective, keeping that objective, we can devise, we can write a story. Thank you. I'm getting a lot of messages. Thank you for your wonderful, comments in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you,
dearest
ma'am, for the wonderful
participants,
session.
those who wish to give feedback to the resource person can kindly come forward and give your feedback. Those who wish to stay informed about our upcoming sessions, we have shared the link of our webinar group in the chat box. You people can join that link so that you will be joining our webinar group and you will be informed about our daily sessions. Yeah, and now we request people to come forward and give your valuable feedback to the resource person.
Yes, ma'am. It was very and very interesting. And obviously, I would also like to do something like this in my class.
Go ahead and do it, right away. Keep this thought in your mind, just put some points somewhere, start working on it. I'm sure you will be able to come up with a beautiful story. And please refer Pratham Story Viewers.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
It
ma'am,
was
for the wonderful
really a wonderful
Certificate.
engaging.
Ritu Singh is asking how can we get certificate? From the link where you have joined, there is a phone number.